Time for this week's book, Junie B. Jones, Dumb Bunny. It's another Easter favorite. It was our second place vote, but since so many votes were cast for this book, I didn't want to let my Junie B. Jones fans out. So here we go, Junie B. Jones, Dumb Bunny. Chapter 1, Dumb Bunnies and Clucks. Monday. Dear first grade journal, dumb bunny, dumb bunny, dumb bunny, dumb bunny. I'm not allowed to say dumb bunny on account of teacher heard me call May that name on the playground. And he said for me to knock it off. Only here is something I just thought of. Even if I can't say dumb bunny out loud, I can still think it inside my head. Because heads are silent, which is what I like about heads. I'm going to try it out right now. I put down my pencil and looked at May. Then I squinted my eyes real teensy, and I thought that name to just myself, dumb bunny, dumb bunny, dumb bunny, dumb bunny. May looked suspicious at me. What are you doing, Junie Jones? Why are you squinting like that? She asked. Stop it right now. Stop that squinting. I paused my squint. I'm not just squinting at you, May. I'm also thinking a name about you inside my head, but you don't even know what name I'm thinking because heads are silent, which is what I like about heads, I said. May frowned. I started my squint again. Dumb bunny, dumb bunny, dumb bunny, dumb bunny, dumb bunny, I thought. After I finished, I brushed my hands together, very satisfied. There, that ought to hold me for a while, I said. May kept on frowning. Then blam! She exploded out of her chair, and she zoomed to the front of the room. Mr. Scary, Junie B called me that name again. I know she did, only she thought it inside her head, and that is just plain sneaky. Mr. Scary was writing at his desk. He closed his eyes and did a big breath. May, what are our 3 new rules about tattling? He asked. You and I came up with 3 new rules to control your tattling. Do you remember? Can you tell me what they are, please? May stood there a real long time. She did not like the 3 new rules, I believe. Finally, she started to say them. Rule number 1, count to 20 before I tattle, she grumped. Mr. Scary nodded. Yes, May, excellent. That is the first rule. Go on. Rule number 2, said May. If I still feel like tattling, count to 20. Again. Mr. Scary did a thumbs up. Yes, good. And rule number 3? May sucked in her cheeks. Rule number 3. If I still feel like tattling after that, go home, eat dinner, go to bed, wake up, eat breakfast, come back to school, raise my hand to tattle, then put my hand over my mouth, and please be quiet, she said. Mr. Scary clapped his happy hands. Perfect, you've got it. Those are exactly the rules we talked about, aren't they? He said. I'm very proud of you for remembering them. He stood up and walked her back to her chair. You have a great memory for rules, May, he said. But the next step is to actually follow the rules, okay? And I don't believe you counted to 20 this time, did you? I leaned over and tapped on him. I can vouch for that, I said. There was definitely no counting. Mr. Scary frowned at me. I'll deal with you in a minute, Miss Jones, he said. You and I are going to review the rules on name calling. I did a gulp. Oh, but I didn't even call her a name, Mr. Scary. All I did was think a name in my head, I said. May flashed her angry eyes. No, you did not just think it, Junie Jones. You told me you were thinking it, and that is exactly like saying it, almost, she said. She went on. Plus, you didn't even think it quietly. You thought it so loud that I could hear it in your brain. May looked up at Mr. Scary. My ears were tested last year in kindergarten, she said. The nurse said I can hear as good as a North American barn owl. Mr. Scary stared at her a real long time. No, May. No, I'm sorry, he said. But the nurse did not tell you that. You do not hear as well as a North American barn owl. May squirmed in her chair a little bit. Squirming is what happens after fibbing. At least that has always been my experience. After a minute, May put her head on her desk and she covered up with her sweater. Mr. Scary bent down next to me. And as for you, Miss Jones, this is the absolute last time that I ever want to talk to you about name calling, he said. I don't want you to say dumb bunny or think dumb bunny or sing dumb bunny or hum dumb bunny or write dumb bunny. Do you understand me? I tapped my fingers on my desk. But then what am I supposed to do when May is mean to me? I asked him. I have to call her something, or else she won't even know that I'm mad. I thought for a second, then I clapped my hands together. Hey, I know. Maybe I could just think the dumb part in my head and I'll call her just plain Bunny, I said. Would just plain Bunny be okay with you? May popped up from under her sweater. No, 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 she grouched. Just plain Bunny isn't nice either. My friend named Sheldon stood up. Bunny isn't nice? How come Bunny isn't nice? He asked. I have an aunt named Bunny and she's very, very nice. Sheldon looked at Mr. Scary. My Aunt Bunny is married to my Uncle Vern, he said. Aunt Bunny has a lot of... Mr. Scary Quick held up his hand. Yes, Sheldon, we know. You've told us many interesting things about your Aunt Bunny. But right now we don't need to hear any more about your Aunt Bunny's skull tattoos, said Sheldon. Please sit down, said Mr. Scary. Across the room, Lucille sprang right up. Well, I love, love, love bunnies, she said. And so this subject is perfect timing for me because I'm having a big party at my giant house on Saturday, and all of you are invited to come. She bounced up and down real excited. And guess what else? A very famous bunny is going to be there to meet you. Guess who it is, everyone? Guess the bunny, she said. Room 1 thought real hard. Then all of us started to guess at once. Bugs Bunny? Buster Bunny? The Bionic Bunny? Thumper, we guessed. Lucille rolled her eyes. No, she said. My bunny is way more famous than those dumb cartoon guys. We guessed some more. The Trix Rabbit? The Velveteen Rabbit? Peter Rabbit, we asked. Lucille stamped her foot. No, she said again. What's wrong with you people? It's the Easter Bunny. Haven't you ever heard of the Easter Bunny? She reached into her desk and pulled out some fancy envelopes. Then she waved them around real angry. Do you see these invitations, huh? Do you? She asked. These are invitations to an Easter egg hunt at my rich, expensive Nana's house. And I was going to pass them out at lunch, but if you dumb clucks never ever heard of the Easter Bunny, just never mind the whole thing. And after that, she did a huffy, and she flounced back at her chair. Mr. Scary hurried over there. Then he quick got her up, and he took her by the hand and locked her out in the hall. They were gone a really long time. When they finally came back, Lucille said she is sorry for calling us dumb clucks. That is some kind of insult, apparently. Then she took the envelopes out of her desk again, and she gave an invitation to everyone. And so yippee, yippee, hooray, hooray, room 1 is going to a party. Chapter 2, Clothes and Nubs. Lucille was still mad at lunch. I just don't get it, she grouched. How could anyone forget the Easter Bunny? The Easter Bunny brings candy right to your door. Lenny did a frown at her. He doesn't bring candy to my door, Lucille, he said. The Easter Bunny is a different religion than me. I'm Jewish. Shirley nodded. I'm Jewish too, Lucille, she said. I've never even been to an Easter egg hunt before. What do you wear to something like that anyway? Lucille stood up and fluffed herself. Well, since the Easter Bunny and I are the same religion, I'm going to wear a fancy Easter dress, Shirley, she said. Shirley thought for a minute. Then she nodded. Then I guess I'll just wear a fancy Jewish dress, she said. Lenny's eyes lighted up. Really, Shirley? You mean we have our own clothing line? He asked. He smiled. Then I think I will wear some fancy Jewish pants, he said. My friend named Herbert tapped on his chin. Let's see. I'm a Presbyterian. I guess I should wear Presbyterian pants, he said. He turned and looked at me. Presbyterian means we iron out our wrinkles, I think, he said. Just then, Sheldon slapped the table with his hand. Hey, I know. I will wear a fancy turban. A fancy turban is religious clothes, right? He asked. I love fancy turbans. Mr. Scary was listening to us while he ate. He quick put down his sandwich. Boys and girls, you're getting way off track here, he said. Lucille's Easter egg hunt is not a religious party, really. I've spoken to her mother about it. It's more of a spring picnic with an egg hunt activity. Am I right, Lucille? Yes, she said. My mother said the Easter Bunny isn't even working that day. He's just going to hop around the party and smile and have his picture taken with people. I thought about that for a second. I don't think bunnies should smile, I said. Bunnies have yellow teeth like clown teeth, except bunny teeth are way pointier. Sheldon nodded. My Aunt Bunny has a pointy tooth, he said. She can stab a pickle with it, and the pickle just stays there. All of us stared at him. Sheldon has the interestingest family I have ever heard of. Lucille did a big breath. Well, I don't care about pointy bunny teeth, she said. Bunnies have cute floppy ears and puffy fluffy tails and itchy twitchy little noses. I kept on picturing their teeth. Bunny teeth can nibble your head into a nub, I said. No, they cannot, Junie B. Jones, she said back. Oh, yes, they can, Lucille, whatever your last name is, I said. I saw it on Oprah. Mr. Scary glared at me. I ducked down in my seat, and I quieted my voice. Oprah has a lot of nub information, I said very soft. Mr. Scary glared again. I started to squirm. Teachers can spot a fib a mile away. At recess, Lucille told us more about the party. She said there was going to be lots of delicious food to eat. Plus, also, there was going to be an exciting prize for the Easter egg winner. And wait till you hear this, she said. My daddy is going to hide a real pretend golden egg. And whoever finds the golden egg will win the grand prize of the day. And that is a fabulous play date with me, Lucille. She trolled around and hugged herself. And it's not just any old fabulous play date with me either, she said. The winner is going to get to go swimming with me in my heated indoor swimming pool that we have just had enclosed. She did a little shiver and rubbed her arms. Isn't that exciting, everyone? She asked. Doesn't that just give you the tinkles? She looked around. Well, doesn't it, huh? Doesn't it make you tinkle all over? She asked. All of the children looked curious at each other. Herbert rocked back and forth on his feet a minute. I think you might mean the tingles, he said at last. Jose nodded. Yes, Lucille, you definitely mean the tingles, he said. Lucille squinted at those two. Tingles, tinkles, whatever. The point is, a play date with me gives you goosebumps on your arms, she said. Just look at your arms, people. Don't you see them? Don't you see the goosebumps? All of us looked at our arms. None of us saw the goosebumps. We waited and waited, real patient. And then finally, goosebumps, shouted Sheldon. I see goosebumps, Lucille. He ran to her and pointed. Look, Lucille, see them? See my goosebumps, he asked. Lucille's face beamed, very happy. Oh, Sheldon, those are the goosebumpiest goosebumps I ever saw. Thank you, Shelzy. Thank you for those goosebumps, she said. After that, she gave him a big hug, and she waved her fingers at us. Well, ta-ta, everyone, she said. It's time for me to go look at myself in the cafeteria window. Dada. Then she shook her shiny hair, and she skipped away. Sheldon kept standing there. He was shocked from the hug, I think. Then, all of a sudden, his whole face lighted up, and he began to shout, Lucille, wait up. I'll look at myself in the cafeteria window, too, he shouted. He took off skipping after her. I smiled to see that. I think Sheldon has a crush on Lucille, I said to my friend Herbert. Herb looked at me funny. You mean crush, Junie B. He has a crush on Lucille, he said. I started to laugh. Don't be ridiculous, Herbert. It's definitely a crunch, I said. I'm an excellent at expressions. He looked funny at me again. I don't know why. After a minute, Sheldon and Lucille skipped past us. They were smiling and giggling and chasing each other. Sheldon was calling to her. Come back here, you springy little lamb, he called. I slapped my knee. Springy little lamb? Huh? He called her a springy little lamb. That is a hoot, I said. May heard me talking. It's not funny, Junie Jones. Can't you see what he's doing, she said. Sheldon is trying to get in good with Lucille, so she'll tell him where the golden egg is hidden. He's just trying to win the play date to swim in her pool. She followed him with her eyes. He's not going to get away with it, though, she said. After that, she cupped her hands around her mouth, and she shouted after him, You can just forget about it, Sheldon Potts. I'm going to be the one who finds that golden egg, not you. I've got eyes like a red-tailed hawk. I looked at her very curious. May has a lot of bird parts, I believe. Also, she is cuckoo, and that is not name-calling. That is just the plain truth.